The MetroSense FairGuard Assure system is designed to protect your facility from those catastrophic type events, the missile type events. The way it does this is it gives you both a visual and an audible indication that a ferrous object is entering or about to enter your room. It has several engineering improvements that have been designed to decrease the number of extraneous alerts that contribute to alarm fatigue. Earlier versions of ferrous metal detection systems suffered greatly from alarm fatigue. We have engineered solutions to combat that. One of those is our smart alarm technology. Smart alarm gives us a couple of advantages. It will ignore the door when you initially open it. Each door does have ferrous material. And if you are ferrous free or have a low magnetic signature, you can open the door. The system will ignore the door, either in swing or out swing, and you can proceed through. The other advantage is our twin beam infrared array that allows the system to detect the direction of travel. You will only get an alert upon entrance into the room with a ferrous object. It will never give you a audible alert upon exiting the room. So let me demonstrate that. So I'll show you how the door works. You will still get a brief flash of red, but what we're sensing is that audible. So I can open the door, continue through, because I'm ferrous free. If I do have a ferrous object, and we calibrate our systems to about the size of a pair of tape scissors. So you can see as I approach the door, the system illuminates, and if I continue through the door, then we'll get that obvious audible alert. So to demonstrate how the bidirectional system works, I'm going to exit the room, and even though we get a visual indication, we don't get an audible indication because we're not concerned with things that are going away from the magnet. Now, if you are working ferrous free, which I strongly encourage, or work with a low magnetic signature, glasses and so forth, then you can generally open the door and come through. Now, if you choose to wear a ferrous object, then the entry for a patient takes about 10-15 seconds longer. The technologist will enter first, allow the system to settle down to green, and then enter. So it's important that we take that extra few seconds to make sure that the patient or staff member doesn't have any type of ferrous material that could be a possible risk while you're in the room. Questions often raised about detachable tables. If you are using ferrous-free transport equipment has been tested by our systems, and we can enter without an alert. Keep in mind that some of the conditional, MRI conditional transport equipment does have a little bit of ferrous material in them, so keep that in mind. So what do we do with those folks that are on MRI conditional transport equipment that does have a little bit of ferrous material or detachable tables? So we're going to bring those folks to the door, and as the ACR recommends, we're going to do our final timeout there. We're going to verify that the patient doesn't have anything underneath them, under the blankets. If there's a shelf, that there's no objects there that could be ferrous, then we're going to proceed into the room. So the question is often asked, because we have these transport equipments, we're a high acuity facility, and we have a lot of our patients come in on these. Why is this system of value? Well, let me explain that. The system will only alert upon the initial entry. So what I mean by that is the first time you bring the patient into the room, yes, you're going to get an audible alert. However, from that period forward, the system will only alert on people that do have ferrous objects. So if you're doing a complex case that requires nursing, anesthesia, and so forth, those folks, when they enter the room, if they do have ferrous material, the system will give you a warning that something ferrous is entering your room. And this is often the case with these complex cases, and it's often the 5th or 6th time that someone enters your room during one of these cases. So keep that in mind. We have an optional solution for that as well in our alert suppression unit. So essentially what the alert suppression unit does is allows you to suppress the audible alert for a set period of time. It's keyed and controlled by the manager. You can set it for as low as 4 seconds or for as high as 10 minutes. And essentially what you do is depress the button, and then the system will suppress the audible alert for a set period of time. You'll still get the visual alert, but the audible will be suppressed. We also have an innovation called VIEW technology. VIEW technology stands for Visual Early Warning. And essentially, what it means is that the larger the magnetic signature of an item, and generally the mass of the item, say a steel oxygen tank, as you approach the door, you are going to get an alert, visual alert, more quickly than you would with a smaller object. So the larger the magnetic signature, the sooner the system will advise you that you do have a ferrous object. So that's what we call VIEW technology. Now let's talk about our MRI Safety Manager. The MRI Safety Manager serves a few functions. Up at the top, we have a report event feature for smaller facilities so that they can too meet the Joint Commission mandate of having a methodology for near-miss close call events. I'll demonstrate that. So essentially you hit the report event. It'll come up with this paragraph that says, please don't put any PHI in here. You report the event. You would just simply put your name in, record the details of the event, assign it importance, low or high, and then save. And then it lives on this device itself. So it's a very quick and efficient way to meet that Joint Commission standard. It also gives you an avatar of your door. It'll let you know whether your poles are red or green, whether your door is open, in motion, and whether there is a ferrous detection. So that can be helpful in certain sightings if your door is not in line of sight from your control area. Keep in mind that the MRI Safety Manager is sited in your control area. We can wall mount these so that they don't take up real estate on your desk. So on the bottom left, we have a couple of settings where you can change the brightness and change the poles into standby mode when the device is closed. So standby mode will gray out the poles until the door is open. We also can adjust the clock to military or standard time under our settings. And there are a few other features, but what I really want to point out are the analytics. So the analytics on the system live under the summary report. And if you look at the device, this will go back as many months as you've had the system installed. So this information is always being collected, and it's ready for you to use whenever you are ready to deploy it. There's nothing you really need to do to access the information on the tablet. The analytics collects information on 3 key metrics. One of them is entries, and also the number of audible alerts that were caused by those entries. The magnetic activity around the door when it's open, so we're looking at possible risk items, as well as the door open time, which is always a good metric of MRI safety. You'll also get a bit of benchmarking on the system. It will give you these good, warning, or critical indications. This particular door, because it's a demonstration system, doesn't have the greatest metrics. However, the system will give you some benchmarking to get you off the ground, and then after a couple of months you can compare your numbers to the first couple months you've had the system. Once you establish those numbers, then you can look for trending based on that. So we'll keep track of, again, the number of entries and the total number of alerts, the magnetic activity around the door when it's open, and the door open time. So that is the analytics on the system. You can also get in great detail in activity detail and activity trending for problem solving. And then quickly I'll show you our education videos on here. So we have a couple of videos on how to use these systems and information on working ferrous-free, as well as some MRI safety education for level 1, level 2, and non-MRI personnel. These are very well done. These are very high quality videos put together by William Faulkner and Kristen Harrington, and in some places use these as their annual reorientation. There's also a settings tab down here that is for setting up your system. We have a package in which you can set this on your Wi-Fi network and pull the information from the device itself to a desktop or your smartphone. So that is the MetroSense MRI Safety Manager.